So guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to share with you 3 books that changed my life forever. Now obviously there's lots of books that have had a great impact in my life, but for the sake of this video I've narrowed it down to 3 choices, and the reason why is because there's a lot of information out there to confuse you, and that's the last thing I want to do. And these 3 books will be a great start for you to develop the right mindset. So without further ado, let's dive into the first book I want you to read and study. And by the way, if you've read any of these books, now is probably a good time to reread them and take notes on each chapter you read, especially the last book, because it's the most important book out of all of them that you're gonna need to study. So the first book that changed my life forever is The Surrender Experiment. And I just want to say that this is one of my favorite books because it changed my approach to life. And honestly, it's just a very simple read. I find this book so great because the author, Michael Singer, actually lived a real lifestyle to the fullest. With that being said, he didn't just sit around all day and do nothing. Michael had relationships. He completed his master's and doctorate's degree. He wrote books, grew his own temple, and later he even took his single person business and grew it to $1 billion business. Michael accomplished a lot, not by pushing, but surrendering to the flow of life. And to give you a quick analogy, there's 2 ways you can walk on a windy day. So you can either go against the wind and it will be hard and your progress will be slow, or you can go with the wind, regardless of the direction your ego wants to go, and it'll be much easier. Plus, you'll move in a longer direction in a shorter period of time. And the same thing goes with life. We can either be fluid and go in the direction that life puts us in, or we can resist life and go in the opposite direction because our mind tells us that it's the direction we should be going in. So I'll let you pick this one up and make your own interpretation of it. But I will say, if you do decide to pick it up, just be ready for the journey that you will go on if you decide to follow and read exactly what Michael Singer did. The reason why is because this one definitely flipped and turned my life upside down the most. But I'm so grateful for it because without this book, I definitely would not be where I am today. In fact, I would go as far to say my life is better off because of this approach. So going into the next book, the reason why I picked this one is because it left a lasting impression in my mind, and also it aligns with my values in business and personal life as well. So this book is called The Go-Giver, and I have a different version, The Go-Giver Leader, because there's multiple versions, but I would just pick up the regular version, The Go-Giver. And the reason why is because this book teaches you about the 5 stratospheric laws of success that teach you how to be more resourceful as a person. Now, take that term resourceful lightly because the book goes into it much deeper than I will in this video. In fact, I'm not going to cover the 5 laws in this video, but I definitely suggest picking up the book and learning about them yourself. Just keep in mind that this book emphasizes the power of giving to increase your chances of success. Instead of putting your attention on the money, you want to put your attention on other people's interest, specifically the people you're serving, and the money will come anyways. For someone that's had very little success financially, this concept may be harder for you to grasp, but for people that have had at least a little bit of success, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll just leave it at that. So the third book I want to talk to you all today about is, again, the most important one out of all of them, and a lot of you are probably already familiar with this one. This book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon mentioned that when you begin to think and grow rich, you'll observe that riches begin with the state of mind, the definiteness of purpose, and with little or no hard work. Napoleon Hill read on, researched, and worked with more rich people in the history of humanity. And by the way, that little book that I mentioned to you earlier, The Go-Giver, gives you the secret recipe to entering that state of mind that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich. Don't get me wrong, you definitely have to put in the work, otherwise all of this would be pointless. But if you don't see the riches in your thoughts, how do you ever expect to see them in your bank account? Remember that all thoughts start with an idea, and you have the ability to control your own mind. As stated throughout the book, thoughts backed with strong desire have the ability to transmute themselves into its physical equivalent. In fact, this book is also a great read because it teaches you that this concept is a double-edged sword. If you don't seek out the right thoughts to put in your mind won't stay idle. It'll unintentionally pick up thoughts which fill it up. So what's the point of all of this? Well, you don't want to leave it to chance. If you fail to control your own mind, then you fail to control anything else in your life. And let me be clear, you need to read all of these books as each one serves its own purpose and is fundamental for you to read if you want to achieve any level of success. The first book we discussed, The Surrender Experiment, is important to read because it opens up your mind and teaches you how to go with the flow. The Go-Giver teaches you how to enter the right state of mind, learning from the 5 stratospheric laws of success. And the book Think and Grow Rich helps reinforce the importance of cultivating this mindset through real-life examples of the most rich people who have lived throughout history. If you had read any of these books, or after you read these books, let me know down in the comments which one of them is your favorite and why. Also, if you have made it this far to the video, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate all of you for sticking around. I wish you great health, wealth, and prosperity.